Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopichanda Balaba Girivanadadi Gopichanda Balaba Jasodanandana Vijanaranjana Jasodanandana Vijanaranjana Jamuni Tira Bonatari Jamuna Tira Bonatari Jamuna Tira Jaya Raro Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopichanda Balaba Girivanadadi Jasodanandana Vijanaranjana Jamuna Tira Bonatari Jamuna Tira Jaya Raro Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Raro Madhava Kunda Bihari Raro Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariva Jakacharya Siddha Shishman, His Divine Grace Abhayacharan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananda Kuravashabinda Ki Namchar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Say Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Ki Mathura Ki Dwarka Dham Ki Navadip Dham Ki Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jamuna Maya Ki Ganga Maya Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Sambhita Bhaktivinda Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Sri Radha Giridhari Ki Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki Gopremanande. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glories of Divine Lord Sita C.C. Guru and Gauranga. Krishna Svedamo Pagate Damaganadi Bisaha Kalanda Sadashamesha Parono Kodinodita Narayana Namaskritcharanam Chaibam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. Before beginning our study of srimadbhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, we should first offer respects to the personality of God in Narayan, to the Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and our spiritual master Srila Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada. Now what is the other? I'm sorry? Krishnesvadamo. What is the first? I know whatever you do, but what is I've forgotten the first line of Krishneswad. Yeah, English. As brilliant as the sun, is originally just after the departure of Lord Krishna into his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision of the dense darkness of the age of Kali should get light out of this Purnana. Srimadbhagavatam ki jai. So we are on Canto 4, Chapter 8, Text 39, correct? Okay, everybody's got a device. We don't write the verse on the board anymore because we assume everybody's high tech. Okay. Maitre uvacha iti udaritam akanya bhagavan nadadas tada prita pratyaha tam balam sad vakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pradyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Vaishnavi Maitreya uvacha ityudartamakanya Bhagavan naradastada prita pratyahatam balam sadvakyam anukampaya Maitreya uvacha. The sage Maitreya continued, iti, thus, udahritam, being spoken, akanya, hearing, Bhagavan Narada, the great personality Narada, tada, thereupon, prita, being pleased, Pratyaha replied, Tam him, Balam, the boy, Sadvakyam, good advice, Anukampaya, being compassionate. O sage, the sage Maitreya continued, the great personality Narada Muni, upon hearing the words of Dhruva Maharaj, became very compassionate towards him. And in order to show him his causeless mercy, he gave him the following expert advice. Also you say. The sage Maitreya continued. The great personality Narada Muni, upon hearing the words of Dhruva Maharaj, became very compassionate towards him. And in order to show him his causeless mercy, he gave him the following expert advice. Purport. Since the great sage Narada is the foremost spiritual master, naturally his only activity is to bestow the greatest benefit upon whomever he meets. Dhruva Maharaj, however, was a child, and so his demand was also that of a playful child. Still, the great sage became compassionate towards him, and for his welfare he spoke the following verses. Om Gena Tamarandasya Gyana Gena Salakaya Chakshu Militan Gena Tasare Shri Gurave Namaha. Well, let's see what we can do here. The idea, everybody is following somebody. Oh, hello to you. Hare Krishna. I thought you looked like a thin Zach. I was trying to figure that out. Everybody's following someone. Everyone has their set of voices rattling in their head, their set of standards. And we do so many things based on that. Well, our parents did it this way. Whatever it may. There's an interesting phenomenon in India. There is a very superficial pop star in America called Justin Bieber. I think Justin is his first name, Bieber. And he's just a boy, what do they call boy toy singer, you know? And he's got a hairstyle there's a point I'm actually making here. That's buzzed on the side, short. I don't know if he still has it because he'll have to change. And then you comb it straight up, and you put some kind of something in there that keeps it, some gel that makes it stand up. All over India, you find kids, and by kids I mean between whatever it is, 10 years old and 30 years old, they've all got the same haircut. It's all over India. They've all got the same haircut. And they even know who Justin Bieber is. And well, this is how Justin Bieber wears his hair, you know. And who cares? In 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, who will even remember Justin Bieber? But they're all, following him. So from the superficial to the cosmetic to our deepest convictions in life, we're all following someone, and we've all got it rattling around in our head. One of the presenters at one of our GBC meetings in India was saying that intelligent people, managers, they don't just, if it's a serious issue, they don't just take the first answer. They say, ask why 5 times. Well, why? Oh, well, why? Oh, well, and if you ask 4 or 5 times, you're going to get closer to the actual cause, reason. You're going to get an easy answer first. You're going to get a less thoughtful, what do you want to hear? I just want to shut you up and get you out of my life. Or I haven't thought about it that much. Or, But if you ask several times, Why? You're actually going to get substance. You're going to get to the root of the thing. So people follow, people do, people believe, but do they ask why? Well, we've always done it that way. Well, lemmings have always gone off cliffs. I don't know if they do they actually go off cliffs? I have to Google lemming when I go home. But why? So here we see he's getting satvakyam, which means good advice, but it also means eternal word, something. Good advice, what does good advice mean? How to invest in the stock market? Okay, that's a certain type of advice. How to, who was the guy? Win friends and influence your uncle, or whatever it was. There's a book by that guy. Carnegie was? No, he wasn't Carnegie. Carnegie was the U.S. Steel guy. No. We've gone way back. It's before your time, but it's anyway. But the point is that okay, that's a certain type of advice. I've got a thing you can, which I didn't know I had, a feature on my phone. You can push it. It says, "Hey Google." You can ask Google questions. It's like a Siri on Apple. Dale Carnegie, different Carnegie. So I asked her, well, how long? Because we were doing some programs out in Rajasthan and out in the deserts. Quite blissful, actually. How long is the drive to Jodhpur from Jaipur? And there's some good advice. My little friend on Hey Google will answer. So, but what is eternal advice? What is actually advice that makes a profound difference? So we're all hearing from somebody, but part of the art of human form of life is to hear from the right source. So here we have Maitreya Uvacha, and he's quoting the words of Narada Muni. So let us fill our mind not with Justin Bieber or Hey Google or whatever it is, but with Satvakyam, advice that will actually has permanent value and substance, and can relieve our real issues, our real why, our real problems. So there's that. Yeah, I wanted to make a few preliminary and then get to a heart of the thing. We find that Dhruva has rejected the initial advice of Narada Muni. This is good advice, but it just doesn't resonate. I've got burning desires and it just bounces off me. So we can't expect that everyone we meet when we're out there in the preaching field is going to say, "Oh, thank you, I was waiting to meet you." Well, that's what I wanted to hear. Oh, I was just wondering about that. What is the absolute truth? But we have a duty. There's no, when Jesus says there's no other way but through me, he doesn't mean the particular rituals of Christendom. He means that unless you follow my advice, there's no other way. It's like you can't go to Mexico by going north. Well, I guess you could. You could go all the way around the globe. On one hand, you could. But it's not really the best approach to the thing. Yeah, exactly. It's not the best approach to the thing. You got to go south. So I could say the only way to get to Mexico is to go south. Or the only way to do something, okay. But you can hear that from multiple sources, So, the only way they're going to get out of this world is sooner or later they've got to take up devotional service.
I mean, everybody with a brain, practically speaking, is already left, in all honesty. I mean, you're all great Vaishnavas taking birth to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. But I know that I'm the bottom of the barrel. Anybody else with a brain has already gotten out of here, and I'm sort of the dredge that is at the bottom of Kali Yuga, you know? So there's nothing else. There's no other there's nothing else that's going to solve our problem but becoming Krishna conscious. So they're going to keep media. It's like a bad penny. It's going to keep showing up. We're going to keep. Their only hope is the devotees. The only way is the devotees. So, and also, Dhruva wasn't ready to hear. So we have to expect that the majority of them are not ready to hear. But when we meet them, they may not buy a book. They may not immediately offer dandavats and say, thank you, shape me up. But we're creating a gyata sukriti. We are, without that, it takes shraddha. One has to have shraddha. It's the beginning of a little bit of faith. Let me hear from these people. Well, I might as well read the book, or, well, let me try chanting Hare Krishna, or whatever, There has to be some form of shraddha. But how does that shraddha start? Is it an endless regress? I mean, where does it start? And shraddha starts by a gyata sukriti. Somehow or other they come in contact with a devotee. Somehow or other they see tilak, they see the holy name, they hear Hare Krishna, they smell incense offered to the deities. They smell the oil that you put on your wrist when they passed around the flowers at Mangalartik, and when you hand them the book which they rejected, they smelled the incense. They smelled the oil. So devotees we are creating good fortune. We are starting them on the conveyor belt, on the path up to a gyata sukriti, up to the path of shraddha, and from there we're starting them on the way, ultimately to prema. So we should never be discouraged. Be polite, let them hear Hare Krishna, let them look at the book, see the book. We're way off the track. We're not going to get as far as I wanted to, but anyway, we'll pick it up next time. There was a devotee, Bhakti Dan. He got initiated, Dayal Nitai. He works at Disney now. He's in LA. He's a nice devotee. Worked at Fate for years, when Fate was getting going. Super shy. Very, very nice devotee. Super, super shy. And I was always encouraging him to go out on book distribution. And it's 100% true story. Wouldn't go. Finally, we're going door to door. You have a kirtan party going down the middle of the road, and you're working the sides of the street. And I said, it's so simple. You just knock on the door. And, some people will open the door, some people won't. Some people, it's simple. And so I was watching, and we were doing opposite doors. And we had two devotees on this side, two devotees on that side. And we're going, So the first time out on Sankirtan, first door he knocks on, this was in Michigan, in Detroit. You hear him undo the lock. Door opens. It's a little old lady, fossilized, practically speaking. And he handed her the Sri Upanishad. I said, because I told them, put the book in their hand, because when the book's in their hand, they develop a subliminal, a subtle psychological attachment. Put the book, plus they get purified by touching the book. So put the book in their hand. If nothing else, at least let them touch the book, touch Krishna in his Bhagavatam form. So it was Sri Upanishad. He put the Sri Upanishad, and she was looking at, Lord Vishnu on the cover. She was looking at Lord Vishnu and looking at the devotee. Looking at Lord Vishnu, looking at devotee, looking at Lord Vishnu. Ah! Fell back dead as a doornail. Oh, boom! The daughter came, the adult daughter. Ah! We had this 911. The ambulance came. So it was a little bit awkward moment, I must admit. But it all worked out, and off we went. But the devotee said to me afterwards, he said, does that happen very often? I said, to tell you the truth, Prabhu, that's the first time I've ever had that happen. But, he was a little unnerved. I gave the lady a heart attack. I said, no, that's not what happened at all. Krishna was keeping her in that body. She was just waiting for a devotee. She left her body looking at a devotee, looking at Lord Vishnu. I mean, you see, who can measure the auspiciousness of such a moment? I said, she was just, Krishna just keeping her in there, keeping the life airs going long enough so that she could see a devotee, then leave her body looking at Lord Vishnu. So, that's an extreme example, but the principle is there that the devotees are creating good fortune. We're their only hope. So here you see, he was rejected. Dhruva rejected. Did Narada Muni give up? No, he was compassionate, and he gave, according to what Dhruva was able to take, he gave it to him. And we see that ultimately it all worked out great for Dhruva Maharaj. So we're going to meet him again, and they may not meet you, but they're going to meet another. And you talk to people how they became devotees. They saw the Harinam party, they saw a devotee walking down the street and said, either that guy's completely crazy, or he's hooked into something sublime. It's one or the other. He's either lost his marbles, or he's just gotten out of the game. He's just completely out of the game. And but now they can process it. They think, a monk. The Buddhists have done us a great service. They think, a monk, he's not in the fever of material life. And look how happy he is. So just by seeing a devotee, it just has a profound seeing a devotee, hearing the holy name, taking prasadam, touching a book. And it all, from that point, bam, it starts. It's like they're hooked. And they start going, chink, 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 chink. They start going up the conveyor belt. So we should never be discouraged, and we should know that, okay, this one didn't take a book. Then, next time around, they'll meet a devotee 6 months later, they'll meet a devotee. They're going to meet a devotee. Because they're not getting out of here. We're not stopping. And they're not going anywhere. So there it is. In due course of time, they're going to run into us again and again and again and again and again. There was a guy, we're way off the track, but it's okay. There was in Michigan, whatever, to make a long story short, we were driving back from a weekend kirtan, Sankirtan book distribution. It was about 10 o'clock at night. We pulled over, and we were changing drivers, because, one of the devotees had fallen asleep. It was a long day. So we pulled over, and so this man in front of us, a man went by and thought we were having, compassionate. Midwest, they have some civility there. And he pulled over. You pull over in L.A., they'll pull over and rob you, But in the Midwest, there's, at least in some parts, once you're outside the cities, there's still some of that homeland, what do you call it? Heartland, that heartland good qualities. So they thought, well, they must be having some car trouble. Let me see if I can help. So the guy pulled over, and I saw him walking towards the car, and so I told the voice, give him a book, give him a book. So the guy laughed. The guy said, I saw you guys because we've been there in the city all day, Lansing. He said, I saw you guys at the Kmart this morning. I didn't take a book. Kmart's like Walmart, whatever. I didn't take a book. He said, then I saw you guys at the county fair. I didn't take a book. He said, I saw you guys at the drive-in movie theater. We used to do drive-in, which was an interesting experience. We used to do drive-in movie theaters. And I didn't take a book. And he said, I'm going to go home, I'm going to open the fridge for a snack, and one of you guys is going to jump out of my fridge. He said, I might as well take a book. Because what are the odds that he stopped? He'd seen us 4 times. So he said, whatever, I'm taking a book, so I'm going to shake you guys, So it's like that. You could stretch it out over the course of the sojourn of that soul, but until they become devotees, they're going to meet us again and again and again. So we should have full confidence that we are building up the water behind the dam that will someday that dam will break, and they'll take to Krishna consciousness. So never be discouraged. And we see that with Narada Muni. He backed up and, okay, we'll try another approach. Devotees don't give up. All right, that didn't work, I'll try this. So, let's see. What time is it? We have to be patient. We see that because they're on fire. There was a devotee, and he was pre-med, not pre-med, what do you call it, pre-med? He was doing his internship, not residency, internship I think they call it, whatever. Going on the rounds with the doctor. He'd finished his schooling, and now he was being, actually putting it into application. And so they went into the room. There was the teacher doctor and a little bit of ducklings, all of his little junior doctors, young, following. And the lady had, just like they say, had fallen and couldn't get up. She'd fallen and broken a rib. And I don't know if you've ever broken a rib. I have. It's extremely painful. You ever broken a rib? Cracked a rib? Oh, man, every time you breathe, you sneeze, you cough, anything else, in one of the orifices that lets go, man, it hurts. So this lady had broken her ribs, old lady. And she, obviously she was disoriented, and not with her family and in a hospital. And, they wake you up every 10 minutes and stick you with something. So she was on the edge, So the doctor reached in to see how the rib was setting, and he had to put a little pressure. And it was painful. And the lady spit in his face and swore at him. So the doctor said, I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones, and we'll see you tomorrow. And he went outside, and the young doctors were all shocked that here's this compassionate doctor trying to help this old lady, and she's spitting in his face. The doctor just wiped the spittle off and said, didn't tell him, said, you'll see tomorrow. That's all he answered, you'll see tomorrow. So sure enough, next day he walks in. The lady's much more acclimatized, the drugs and pain have all worn off, and she was so apologetic that, I'm so, So the point is that they are suffering, these people, they're just wound so tight with anxiety and fear and lust and envy, and they just lash out. It's not you. They would have lashed out at anybody. They lash out at their, passion killings. They do so many stupid things. I was thinking we could give a whole class of the stupid things people do based on passion. So they may lash out at the devotee, but when they become sane, they'll appreciate it. Like all of us. We all remember the first devotees we met, the first devotees who tried to help us, and we can never repay those people. So we should just think that, okay, that now that they're feverish, now they're passionate, but, in due course of time, because they're not going anywhere. The material nature is going to keep grinding them around, and when they're circling the drain, they're going to keep circling the drain in Kali Yuga until they finally become devotees. So we should be patient, very patient with them. And Prabhupada tells, I guess we'll end here, and we'll say the rest later on. Prabhupada tells the story. I remembered it. It's called Prabhupada's story about Dr. Beecham. Now, Dr. Beecham went with the British Raj when the British were, colonial in India, and he was working. He was sent. I guess he was with the military, with the army or whatever it was. But he was a doctor, and as a side, side hobby. It's not quite the right word I'm looking for, but a side endeavor. But just whatever. He invented something called Dr. Beecham's powder. Now, you put a spoonful, I heard Prabhupada tell this story. You put a spoonful in water and you stir it. And it cures the Delhi belly, Mahatma Gandhi's weight loss program, or the Bombay Blues, whatever you want to call it, It cures that. It cures indigestion. It gets rid of fever. It was just like fantastic stuff. Put pep in your step, glide in your stride, and a new lease on life. Dr. Beecham's powder. But it just never took off. He tried to sell it, tried to pack, never sold. So whatever, just forgot all about it. Decades later, he's retired, he's an old geezer, he's an old man, just for fun. He's got a little chemist or pharmacy shop in the little village, in England. And one day, an old lady, he's 85 and she's 82, and she toddles into his, little ding ding, little bell rings, and she comes into his little shop, and she says, she said, I used to be stationed in India with my husband, and we used to get something called Dr. Beecham's powder, and it was the best product, and it just solved do you sell Dr. Beecham's powder? And the old man, Dr. Beecham himself, was so excited and happy that someone actually wanted to buy his powder, he dropped dead from a heart attack. That's Prabhupada's story. Prabhupada said, in the same way, just to find one person, Prabhupada said, I was coming to America, I was ready if I could find one person. And it's a quote, it's actually quite blissful, it's a quote from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who also says, I'm prepared to find one person, and I will sit down under a tree and tell them everything. So just to find one person who's interested, we should be like Dr. Beecham. We should be so happy and grateful and satisfied that we're willing to give our life. So that's just a premise, and I guess we'll get to the rest of the stuff I wanted to say some other time. But all glories to Dr. Beecham's powder. Hare Krishna. Thank you.